What's up, everybody? We're little right now. I don't know why, but there we are. We back now. And how we doing, everybody? We're here as we are 1 week, almost 1 week officially from probably one of the most craziest moments and one of the most exciting pay-per-views that we have seen in WWE history. As we saw a bunch of returns, we saw people getting attacked. We saw some attackers finally be revealed, and we saw the biggest heel turn that has ever happened in WWE, as the man right there of me, that guy right there, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, Respect. We love you, never give up. Turned into Hustle, Loyalty, Disrespect. Fuck them kids. And I'm ready to take everybody's name, and I'm ready to do what I have to do to get that number 17 and break Ric Flair's record. So, we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about Raw. We're here to talk about NXT. We got Roadblock on Tuesday. We're here to talk about SmackDown. We got AEW Revolution here, as I'm going to give you my predictions. And I knew there was a picture I was forgetting, but we'll get the picture up. And I'll give you my predictions for AEW Revolution that'll be going down tomorrow. We will not be live, but make sure you watch it. Make sure you keep an eye out, because you know me, I'll be on X and everything else. But before we get to all the stuff, let's get to the chat. What's up, J-Dog? J-Dog, if you can actually, could you possibly go and try to find the AEW Revolution match card for me? First question, did you kind of know that John Cena was kind of... So, the only moment that I knew John Cena was turning heel was when he was standing behind Cody Rhodes. And we were sitting here watching, and I said, guys, what if John Cena turns heel as he's standing behind Cody Rhodes? And we've seen it done with so many people standing behind them as they go and they, yeah. So that was the only moment I thought, but Drew versus Damian should have a stipulation. Yes, it should. If it's just a straight up singles match, I'm not going to be too excited to watch it. When do we see Malachi Black come back? Do you think it's a perfect feud for him? I think that he does come back very soon, and apparently he's going to SmackDown. So we'll have to see where he goes, because obviously Judgment Day is on Raw. And, obviously, like we've talked about with the couples, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega are obviously married, so that will be part of the reason why he will be on, and he will be on the SmackDown brand. So do we think Naomi's interference in Bianca versus Rhea match? I think Jade and Naomi does happen at Mania, and I think it happens on separate nights, to be honest. Do you think that they show the footage? I hope so. I kind of hope next week that they do. I do think that Roman versus Seth will happen, and I think that Punk will be involved in that some way. I still personally, though, think that Punk's favor will be to get in the triple threat with Cody and Cena, but that's just me. They could very well just be doing the triple threat. Either way, though, I do think Roman Reigns returns during that steel cage match on Monday. Do you think they should add EO to the triple threat? Do you mean they add Rhea to the triple threat? Yes, I do believe that it's going to be a triple threat. And they did confirm, Fightful did confirm that those rumors about Rhea Ripley not being healthy were false, and those were not true. So you can't believe everything you see on the internet, guys. Do you think Jade versus Bianca? I think that should happen at SummerSlam. I mean, she did side-eyed, and I mean, the way Naomi just went after Bianca, I mean, I guess I didn't expect it to happen like that, but it did. We back to the Liv. Yes, we are. We back to the Liv Morgan crybabies. Listen, Liv Morgan will be at WrestleMania. She'll be defending her tag team titles, and everybody will be perfectly fine with it. Again, Liv Morgan is still young. Liv Morgan will be around for so many more years. Liv Morgan hasn't even, scratched the surface of what Liv Morgan could possibly do here. And, again, we did this a year ago, and then literally 6 months later, she was a champion. So, she'll be fine. Did he really have cotton in his ear? I mean, I don't know. Travis Scott fucked him up, so I'm surprised he didn't, I thought it was going to be a little bit worse. We also did see a return last night. We'll talk about it too. Miss Alba Fire. I guess not even a return, but we did see Isla Dawn get released. And Alba Fire, I guess she's calling herself Sergeant A or whatever the hell. I don't know. Well, I'm just going to say Alba Fire. She is now teaming up with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And who knows? Maybe this is where they turn Piper face. And maybe Alba takes Piper's place. I know that kind of was random. Penta will be involved in the Intercontinental Championship picture, is what I think. Chelsea, that is the most false fact I think I've heard you say all of the time I've known you. Chelsea Green is the perfect women's champion, and she's done absolutely a perfect job as the U.S. women's champion. Hey, what's up, Daniel? We got Eric in the house. What's up, Eric? I knew it at second. He took advantage of Seth curb stop him. I mean, I mentioned that too as we were watching Cody and Rock talk. I mean, I didn't think they'd actually pull it. I didn't think they pulled the trigger on it. It's just crazy. Thank you, J-Dog. I appreciate it. I will look at that. We will go over the AEW Evolution card too. What about a multi-person Intercontinental Championship match? I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And if she does not return, Becky Lynch does not, because I think Becky Lynch would be the perfect person to face Lyra. I feel like we could also get a multi-woman Intercontinental Championship match too. Also, if I am them, I would definitely do 2 Intercontinental Champion. I would do the men's and women's Intercontinental Champions on one night, and then the men's U.S. and women's championships on the other night. Again, but it all just does depend. We got our guy kicking it in Leo, or kicking in. I said kicking in. We got kicking it with Leo in the house. What's up, Leo? Leo, I do want to hear your opinion because I did watch your Liv Morgan video, and I mean, I think you did have some very good points and everything. But as we talked about it, and as everything happens, I think she's got to play it out and let it play out. But again, it's not like she's not going to. The one good thing, though, is that, like you said in your video, last year she wasn't on the Mania card. And a couple years ago, she has been in tag team and everything else like that. But this year, she will be on the card. I think she will be taking on maybe a Nikki Cross and a Alexa Bliss tag team if they end up doing the stuff that they do with the Wyatt Six and everything. We obviously didn't see the Wyatt Six last night, but we will always, again, there is a lot of time until WrestleMania. So I feel like for a couple weeks, as J-Dog likes to say, I feel like SmackDown and Raw are not going to be the greatest shows of all time. Or J-Dog likes to say they're mid shows. So I'm going to say I feel like they're going to be mid for a couple weeks, but then they're going to start ramping it back up like they always do. And then by WrestleMania week, everybody's going to be hyped up and we'll all be celebrating. I can see why some may be upset because Liv didn't get a rematch for the title. I think she wins Rumble or Chamber next year. And we get Liv versus Bianca at Mania. I'm going to be patient. And hey, sometimes that's just what you got to do. But yes, again, Liv Morgan, I think she will get her opportunity. She will main event at WrestleMania before she does retire. I feel like that's a fact. So last night, Cody wrote, injury, a black eye was supposed to have a ruptured eardrum. I mean, how do you know the eardrum wasn't ruptured too? I'll say Liv for Calvert. That's what I think. Unfortunately, with how little Triple H cares about the women's tag titles, how do we know that they don't drop them before Mania? Who are they dropping them to? You let me know a tag team that they're dropping them to, and, we'll talk about it, but I don't see it happen. I think they will. Thank you, J-Dog. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that they'll go into the WrestleMania. I don't think any champions change hands besides what happened last Monday. But then again, I mean, I could be wrong. But now, let's go into all the news, the notes, the rumors, and all that stuff that we got going down this week and everything else like that. And then we will obviously get back to the chat. Keep leaving your comments, your concerns. Remember, if you have not yet, go and get yourself and become a member. Leave a super chat if you can. It's not what's the word? It's not required, but if you can, it is supporting the channel. Also, speaking of supporting the channel, big milestone coming here very shortly, but I need your guys' help. So if you have not yet, go over to thebonfire.com. The link is in the description on the channel. Go and get yourself some Tino's Time merchandise, or if you want to support the Southside Boys, you can get yourself some Southside Boys merchandise. We need 4 more sales to be able to get ourselves and hit our first goal of our merchandise sales. So if you have not yet, please do so. Only one t-shirt, that's all it takes. But again, obviously, if you can't, I understand. But it's there for you guys. But now let's get into it. And we're going to start off with what is going to be going down this Tuesday night, as we will be live here this Tuesday night. And this is kind of also, I did see you guys wanted a preview show. So in a way, this is kind of our preview show. I will be cutting this video out and we will be talking about it. And I'll be releasing it as a separate video in case you are not here. So let's do it. And let's talk about Roadblock that will be going down on Tuesday, as we have these matches that will be going down. We have champion versus champion. It's Stephanie Valkyr taking on Julia for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Ethan Page taking on Javon Evans in a street fight. We got the Hardy Boys taking on Fraxium. The TNA Tag Team Champions are on the line. And then we also have Moose and Oba Femi will be taking on each other for the NXT Championship. We also have Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez and the Dead Man. He's there supporting, he's promoting LFG. Undertaker is going to be in the house at NXT Roadblock. We got all those things that are going to be going down. So, let's not waste any time, and let's predict these matches, and let's act as if it was a preview show. And let's start off from the main event and go on up. I feel like this will be the main event of the show. We got Oba Femi taking on Moose for the NXT Championship. I think that these two are going to go out there and they're going to destroy each other. It's going to be a great match, and if you do not know who Moose is, you should go watch some of Moose's matches, because Moose is a monster, Oba Femi is a monster, and there might not be a roof after this match is done. So, I'm going to say, because the NXT Championship is on the line, I'm going to say that Moose does win. I'm going to say that Oba Femi wins and is still your NXT champion. We could see some type of shenanigans and we could see some type of a something or another. But I do feel like, just because, I don't think they're going to switch titles. And I feel like Oba Femi will walk out still your champion. And again, I mean, they could pull a swerve, but I'm going to stick with Oba to walk out. But I could also see Oba kind of sneaking one by Moose. And this might not be the last one that we see with them. But now let's talk about a street fight. And let's talk about two guys that just don't like each other in any which way. After all ego, Mr. Ethan Page decided that he was going to break Javon Evans' jaw, his mouth bleeding, couldn't talk. It was not a good time. And they've just continued and continued and continued. Well, Tuesday, it's all going to come ahead as they go at it in a New York street fight. And hey, as I keep saying about these matches, guys, let's get these guys to start outside of the arena, and let's start in the NXT parking lot. I mean, hey, I'm down for it. Shoot, start in the backstage. Go to the archives if you want. I mean, do whatever you got to do. But either way, it's going to be a great match. I feel like we're going to see them pull off a lot of crazy moves. Javon Evans going to be bouncing himself everywhere and going nuts. Ethan Page going to try to sneak a couple ways to win like he always does, because that's just what he does. Because Ethan Page is I'm just so happy to see Ethan Page finally being able to get the opportunity and being able to get what he deserves in wrestling and in NXT. Obviously, what he was not able to do in AEW. But I'm going to say that Javon Evans gets the win here. It's going to be great. I think this very well could maybe be the match of the night. I'm just saying it very well could be. But maybe besides the tag team titles, because I feel like the Hardy Boys and Fraxium going to put on a banger. But Javon Evans and Ethan Page, I'm going to say they go out there. But I'm going to say Javon Evans gets the win. And we have one more match maybe at NXT Stand and Deliver. And then who knows? Maybe Ethan Page jumps up and he goes right to the main roster after WrestleMania. We also have Jordan Grace taking on Roxanne Perez. And thankfully, Miss Cora Jade is okay after a scare injury. We were worried last week. But she did confirm, and she did let all of us know that she is all okay. And that is great news, because we do not want anything bad to happen to Miss Cora Jade. But Roxanne, we did see Roxanne take out Jordan Grace after that and after their match with Jordan Grace and Cora Jade. I thought Roxanne was already going to be up in the main roster full time, but I guess she's not fully done with NXT. And now we're getting Roxanne against Jordynne Grace. And definitely a dream match I want to see. I just thought Roxanne was on the main roster now. But what the hell do I know, right? I guess we just gonna stay wherever the heck we want to go. But hey, they're being used, and I ain't gonna complain to see this match. I am gonna say that we either are gonna see some type of shenanigans. Maybe Bayley comes out. Maybe we see them finally set up their WrestleMania match. I feel like that is the way it's gonna happen, and I feel like Jordynne Grace is gonna get the win. Jordynne Grace, obviously, I feel like will be in the women's world title picture very shortly, and depending on who wins the champion versus champion match, that we'll talk about in a couple minutes. I think that Jordynne Grace wins. Roxanne, hopefully, maybe now will officially be done on NXT, and we could see her start her feud with Bayley, and she could go on to compete at WrestleMania 41 and put on a show on the grandest stage of them all. Now, let's get to the next match, as it is for the TNA Tag Team Championship, Tag Team Champions. And it might be the match that I'm most excited for to watch. And that is because it's my favorite tag team. It's the greatest tag team of all time. It's the Hardy Boys, the TNA Tag Team Champions, as they take on the NXT Tag Team Champions. It's Fraxium. It's Axiom. It's Nathan Frazier. This is a match that has been building for a while. A dream match for a lot of wrestling fans now. And I'm so happy to see the Hardy Boys. This is going to be the third straight week in a row, guys. The Hardy Boys going to be on WWE television. I don't know how many more times they're going to show up. I don't know if they're going to be part of Stand and Deliver. I don't know if they're going to be part of WrestleMania. So I'm just going to enjoy every second of it, and seeing these two go out, or these four men go out there and tear it down in New York, it's going to be a banger. And as Michelle said, this very well could be the match of the night. And I did say this too about Javon Evans and Ethan Page, because it is a street fight. But I mean, all around, this show should be very, very good, especially for it being a Tuesday night wrestling show. Because usually they do these pay-per-views, and sometimes this is a pay-per-view. But I think the reason why they're not doing it, obviously, is because AEW has their pay-per-view next week, or they have their pay-per-view on Sunday. So I think that's why they're doing it on Tuesday. But as I said with the NXT Tag Team or NXT World Championship, I think it is going to be the same with the Tag Team Championships, because it is for the it is for the TNA Tag Team Championships. I'm going to say that we see the Hardy Boys walk out and win, and the Hardy Boys going to get that win against Fraxium. And again, I don't know what the Hardy Boys are doing after, but if they want to stay in WWE for a little bit, I don't think anyone's complaining. So we're going to take the Hardy Boys to win. They're going to walk out as TNA Tag Team Champions, and we're going to be partying like it's 2008, because you love to see it, because Matt and Jeff Hardy are back in the WWE. Now, let's talk about the match, and it could very well be the main event of the evening. Did I already show this one? It is, but it is this one. It is champion versus champion. It is Julia taking on Stephanie Valkyrie for the NXT Championship, and for the North American Women's Championship. We unified in the titles again, I guess. And for me, that's my only gripe about this match. I'm so excited to watch these two go at it. I'm so excited to see these women destroy each other. But I am also very upset that we are going to be seeing them unify the titles again, because I feel like, what was the point of introducing the Women's North American Championship just for them to unify the titles? And hopefully they don't, and hopefully maybe Julia or Stephanie will defend both of them. Hopefully, maybe they'll vacate one. I don't know. But we'll have to see what happens. We have seen a lot of rumors, though, with Julia being reported injured and everything else like that. So maybe that has a reason on why they're doing this and why they're going into all of it. And that is why I'm going to say that Stephanie Valkyrie does win this match. She did just defeat Fallon Henley for the NXT North American Championship. And I do think that she'll defeat Julia. And as I said, maybe Stephanie loses it because Fallon wants her rematch. Maybe Stephanie will vacate one of the titles. I don't know. But I'm going to say Stephanie Valkyrie walks out. Maybe Julia gets a little time off. And maybe we see this match go down once again at NXT Stand and Deliver. And maybe this is the main event for the women's on night one or Saturday, night or afternoon time before WrestleMania night 1. I didn't know what I was saying there. But I'm going to say Julia wins that match, and I'm going to say she goes out and she just puts it on. And she puts on a show. And all these superstars do it at NXT. Like I said, we also have Undertaker showing up. I really don't know what he's going to do. He might very well just be in the crowd, hanging out, promoting LFG, all that good stuff. They did already renew that show for another season, and it looks like Mickie James is being replaced by Michelle McCool. So we're going to have a little battle between the Callaways, Mrs. Mark and Michelle. But NXT Roadblock is Tuesday. We'll be here live watching it. Thank you guys. Let me know what you guys think about your predictions in the chat below. And let's continue on with what's been going down in the wrestling world, because we also have another pay-per-view to preview. But first, and I want to give a shout out to my guy, J-Dog, for helping me get all these pictures, because I was slacking today, working a little bit. So shout out to J-Dog helping me out today. But we did have a few things that came up, and we also found this from Wrestle Pursuits, right? Yeah, or Pursuits. I said that wrong. But when asking WWE talent about Jade Cargill and Shayna Baszler, incidents shortly after Jade Cargill was written off TV, those were in the locker room very quiet. Since then, it was claimed that Jade Cargill took issue with something that had unfolded, and the word around the locker room was that Jade Cargill had something to the effect that Baszler needed to learn how to work, which was denied by people close to Jade Cargill. It was said of statement from the match in Scotland where Cargill tapped out in what wasn't supposed to be the finish of the match. People close to Cargill claimed that she was more disappointed with herself with how things went down and apologized backstage. And I feel like, this stuff happens. It is what it is. It is just one of those things that I think we will have to just, it's going to be really interesting to see how everything plays out with all of that. I do think that we are going to get Jade Cargill and Naomi at WrestleMania. Maybe Bianca and Jade after WrestleMania. I did think that we were going to get it this year, but obviously Bianca's in the world title, and there's no way Jade's fighting for the world title. So we're going to have to wait a little bit for Jade and Bianca. But hey, getting Rhea, Io, and Bianca at WrestleMania, I'm down for it all day long. But again, those incidents happened. And hey, as long as everybody and everything got squashed, I think we'll be good. And, I think that everything is okay, hopefully. Speaking of women, though, and speaking of NXT Roadblock, I forgot to mention this as we just previewed the show, but Miko Satomura is going to be, and she is scheduled to be at NXT Roadblock. We have seen her a few times, and we have seen her go out there. And, I feel like with her, I feel like she deserves a bigger opportunity, and I feel like we haven't really given her that. Or I guess I say we, like I run the show. But I feel like they need to give her that opportunity to go out there and show us what she can do. And for people that do watch her, and I've watched her at other things and a few things of her other matches and stuff. But I think that if they give her the opportunity, I think it's going to be very good. And I think it's going to be one of those things that helps Miko out, and maybe she finally gets over in NXT a little bit. And hey, there are some dream matches in NXT that I would love to see. Now let's talk about a little Stone Cold reaction, as Stone Cold, guys, says that he needs, and if Cody Rhodes needs his help, he will be at WrestleMania. He will be in Las Vegas off WrestleMania weekend. Cody hasn't called him yet, but we did not see The Rock last year, or we did not see Stone Cold last year with The Rock because of that Avengers at War Games ending that we had that went down. The Rock could very well show up for Cody Rhodes. And again, I'm not saying Stone Cold's going to get in the ring and fight all the time, but if we see Stone Cold show up, he goes out there, he puts in a couple good moves. And again, if he wants to, too. Again, Stone Cold has also mentioned that he will not come back unless it is a big-time storyline, unless it is something that he could really sink his teeth into. And I personally think this is something that he would absolutely love to do. And I think this is something that he would absolutely just be so excited to do. So I'm not going to put it out of the question. But Stone Cold coming out of retirement, not to face The Rock at WrestleMania. But hey, maybe he helps Cody Rhodes out, and maybe we get a little tag team match down the road. Give me a hell yeah in the chat if you want to see that go down. But speaking of yeah, We saw Io Sky win the Women's World Championship on Monday night. We saw a lot of things, crazy things go down on Tuesday night on NXT. Wednesday Dynamite, you know how that goes. But on Friday, we saw another new champion be announced and be crowned in the main event last night. And his name is LA Knight. Yeah. So I did want to mention LA Knight because we were just mentioning, we were talking about Chelsea Green and everything. And we were talking about the Intercontinental titles. I did want to talk about what LA Knight could possibly do at WrestleMania. Because we could see LA Knight have a multi-person match. We could see LA Knight have something and possibly go and have him do a one-on-one match and start a rivalry with somebody. But the problem with that would be is who is that going to be and how much can they really build that up? Because thankfully he did win that match last night after Shinsuke Nakamura defeated him at Survivor Series War Games last November. And for me, as much as I love Shinsuke Nakamura, and we just rewatched that WrestleMania where he lost to AJ Styles, where he should have won and then he turned heel. I just did not personally like this U.S. title run by Shinsuke. And hopefully LA Knight can bring it back to some type of relevancy. And it would be nice because I think the U.S. title has been so very disrespected in the amount of time in the last couple of years. But for me, I do think that we could be possibly getting some type of multi-man match. I really hope Shinsuke doesn't get at another type of like rematch or something. I really hope we don't see anything like that. But Nick Aldis going crazy with the tag teams yesterday, where we saw Pretty Deadly become the #1 tag team champions. And then we also saw DIY win, and they kept their tag team championships. I lied. That's next week. DIY and Street Profits next week, as we saw Pretty Deadly become #1 contender tag team championships. So we're going to have to keep an eye on see what happens with those two, because we are seeing the Viking Raiders and the Creed brothers go at each other, and I feel like we could possibly maybe just get a singles match between them, or maybe the Viking Raiders bring Valhalla back and we see some type of 6-person tag team match. Well, you know what? I feel like what they should do if they do a 6-person tag team match, why can't they put the tag team titles on the line? Don't you guys remember like 15, 20, maybe it might have been 20 years ago by now, that we saw Edge and Kelly Kelly team up, and if Edge lost the match or Kelly Kelly lost the match, Edge lost his title. So why can't we just see that in a 6-person tag team match? Add Ivy, add freaking Valhalla, if Ivy is not going to be involved in the IC women's title. Again, there's just a lot of things that can happen still. But LA Knight, is your United States champion. And I'm going to say, as my final prediction, I'm going to say we do see a multi-person match. People like Santos Escobar, like Andrade's, guys like that. Maybe a Carmelo Hayes, a Braun Strowman. There's a lot of guys that have nothing to do with WrestleMania. And speaking of guys and gals, after what we saw last night, Bianca said she did it. Naomi said she did it for Bianca. She did it for us. As Rikishi said, he did it for The Rock, and he did it for the people. So last night, obviously, Naomi did reveal that she was the one that attacked Jade Cargill. And we've talked about it on the channel here about 50 jillion a million times, as we kind of had a feeling that it wasn't Liv and Raquel. It was probably Bianca or Naomi. And I'm not ruling out that Bianca still isn't involved at some point. I mean, if Naomi could put on an act and win a tag title and act like everything is glow, you're telling me that Bianca can't walk around and say she's the EST in the WWE because you can't have WrestleMania without the EST? I mean, I'm not gonna put it past her. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and it's gonna be really, really interesting to watch Naomi and Jade go at it at WrestleMania. I'm excited to see women's matches and women rivalries, as I've mentioned, that do not need to have including a title. It's just two women that don't like each other and that have just destroyed a friendship. And sometimes those are the best rivalries. So Naomi, Jade Cargill, it's headed for Las Vegas. And that's a fact. Now let's talk about a little bit of the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six are expected back on TV immediately to build towards WrestleMania. And I feel like we talked about this too. I kind of want to look at that picture now. We're here. That picture is kind of cool. But I feel like, as I mentioned with the tag team titles with the belt, or with Liv and Raquel. I feel like we're going to get Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Maybe they add a couple other tag team women's in there. I will have to wait and see. Obviously, they could have a fatal 4-way women's match, and they could go out there, and they just could go out there, and, we'll have to wait and see. What do the other members of the Wyatt Six do now? We have Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, and Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas. I mean, I feel like they could just put together some type of maybe. I mean, we did see it, and maybe what they do, and I mentioned it at the Chamber. Maybe they do a Wyatt Six Judgment Day multi-person tag team match where it's Carlito, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, maybe. I don't know what Finn Balor's doing. I would like to see Finn Balor go after the Intercontinental Champion, to be honest. That's what I would like Finn Balor to do. At least it would give him something to do at WrestleMania. But I think we could definitely see a Carlito, Dominic. Maybe they add somebody else, the new member. And then maybe we see, as I said, maybe we see the Wyatt Six. And, I would say, again, maybe they did just have, Liv and Raquel in that match. But I feel like people would be very mad. And I feel like a fan like Leo would have a mental breakdown if Liv was in a 5-person, 10-man tag team match with the Wyatt Six and Judgment Day. So I'm going to say Carlito, Dominic, and maybe somebody else will take on 3 members of the Wyatt Six if they are going to compete at WrestleMania. Again, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of time. We have, how many? I looked it up yesterday. I think it's 40. Let's see. How many days till WrestleMania? It is 42 days away to WrestleMania. So, WrestleMania, we still got over a month, guys. It's crazy. Speaking of that, though, I think this is exactly what is going to happen. And shout out to Kim Jackson 0514. We got Io Sky as the new women's champion. We got Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. That's what's going to happen. It's going to go down, and not surprised at all. This is going to be a great match. I mean, it's not surprising, especially after what we saw on Monday. But now, let's talk about Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, Disrespect, as it's been 1 week since my childhood hero, my man, my guy, Mr. John Cena, decided that he didn't like us no more. He said, fuck them kids. He said, I don't want to do Make-A-Wish. He said, break a wish. He said, we gonna do that Thugonomics word life. We back. As John Cena turned on Cody Rhodes, he joined forces with The Rock and Travis Scott. Yes, Travis Scott, that was real life. Travis Scott, as I said earlier, messed Cody Rhodes up like really bad. But John Cena, guys, he will be at these dates, which is good. We have March 17th, the 24th and 31st are Monday Night Raw. April 20th, 420, WrestleMania. We have SmackDown, the SmackDown after WrestleMania. He will be at the Saturday night's main event. May 30th, SmackDown, June 13th, and then June 20th. So we do have a lot more dates. And excluding all of these dates, there are still 24 more dates that John Cena will be appearing. So as I mentioned last week, and as I said a couple times, the one good thing about the John Cena and everything that's going on right now is that as the year goes on and as time goes on, the more weeks that he's not there, that means the more weeks that we're closer to getting him longer on TV. And yes, it's going to be interesting to see what he does say on March 17th. That's going to be one of the biggest episodes of Monday Night Raw of all time. It literally very well might be. They say that all the time, but it very well might be when that man comes out. If he's bald, if he's got hustle, loyalty, disrespect, if he's got a chain, if he's got a backward, I mean, who knows how the hell's coming that day. But I'm excited to see Mr. Thugonomics Word Life, Mr. John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, disrespect. I cannot wait to see what this man does. All what you guys know how I feel about John Cena. John Cena, the GOAT. And I am so excited, like I said, just to see him be back and finally see him be a part and finally do his retirement tour and finally begin what will be a crazy time in WWE. Speaking about crazy times, guys, listen to this. 2022, we had John Cena, Kevin Owens as faces, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn as heels. And now, 2025, Kevin Owens and John Cena are heels. And who would have thought Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn would be a face? It's crazy how times can change. We also, it's crazy. The fact that Randy Orton's a face and John Cena's a heel, and the fact that Randy Orton was calling out a heel John Cena last night, I am just not ready for John Cena to come out and just start throwing names and throwing games. And man, this guy just going to be a menace to societies. So I cannot wait to see where John Cena goes. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a long time. Yes, it is. But we got one more thing to talk about today, and then we will be going to the chat. And that is the 10 matches that will be going down this weekend, this Sunday at AEW Revolution. So we're going to go through the matches real quick, and I'm going to give you my predictions on who I think is going to win these matches. We got a trios match with Big Boom, AJ, and the conglomeration. I don't know who the heck that is, but it is Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe with Big Justice taking on Johnny TV and Eminem Connection. It's Mansoor and Mason Madden. I guess that's what they're calling him now. I'm going to say, because this is the pre-show match, we're not going to spend too much time on this one. I'm going to say that Big Boom, AJ, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe win that match. We got Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match. And these two are going to go out there. You guys know how good Will Ospreay is. Kyle Fletcher, I think, is somebody, besides obviously dating Sky Blue, because I know for a minute there, it was kind of bad. That's what people knew what Kyle Fletcher was for, was dating Sky Blue. And Kyle Fletcher, I think he's a really good wrestler. He's really exciting to watch. And I feel like that is the one good thing about, with all of these people leaving AEW and these people leaving WWE, is we do sometimes get to see people like this come out of there. And now he gets a big opportunity inside of a steel cage. I am going to go, though, and saying that Will Ospreay picks up the win here. We got Okada taking on Brody King for the AEW Continental Championship. Let's be bold here. I'm not going to be bold. I lied. We're just going to say Okada wins this one. I think that, from what I've seen in AEW, Dynamite, and everything else, as much as I have been trying to watch as much as I possibly can of AEW, there are some shows that I have missed. But Okada is going to come out and still be your champion. A match, again, these two on the mic have been absolutely amazing. MJF always has been. And Hangman Adam Page, this might be one of my favorite things to be watching on AEW right now, is MJF and Hangman Adam Page. And this very well might be the one match that I am very, very excited to watch. I am going to go, though, and I'm going to say that Hangman Adam Page wins this match. We got the tag team match with the AEW World Tag Team Champions, as it's the Hurt Syndicate. There we go. Syndicate. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin with MVP as they take out the Outrunners of Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. It's our Truth son, Truth Magnum. So funny. But I feel like for, the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Syndicate, so funny. I'm done. Anyway, this tag team match I think will be good, but I do think that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin will get the win, and I think that they're going to walk out still your AEW World Tag Team Championships. Tag Team Champions. We got Momo Wananabe. We got Momo taking on Mercedes Moné for the AEW TBS Championship. And this one, I feel like, Mercedes has been champion for so long. I think that Mercedes has been doing a very good job. I am so happy that Mercedes is finally getting the opportunity. That's what I'm going to say. I'm just going to keep calling them the Hurt Business. The Hurt Sync. I can't even say it. I don't know why I can't say it. Syndicate. There we go. Syndicate. There we go. But, yeah, Hurt Business. But Mercedes Moné, she's going to walk out still your AEW Women's TBS champion on and at AEW Revolution. It's always CEO time in AEW. Now, after what we saw on Wednesday with Swerve calling out Samantha, Ricochet going after Swerve, them just destroying each other on the mic and just putting on a great performance. I've really actually, Ricochet has had some good things. He's had some bad things in AEW. But it's, as I always say, it's cool to see these people like a Ricochet get the opportunity at a world championship that we may more likely not have seen if he was still in WWE. Swerve Strickland, Ricochet, two NXT Black and Gold superstars, gonna tear it down on and at the show for the AEW World Champion, or I should say, to become the number one contender for the AEW World Championship. My bad. Number one contenders match. I'm going to say, and I'm going to be bold, I'm going to say Ricochet wins this one. Ricochet walks out. Swerve Strickland comes oh so close, but he just cannot get up, and he just cannot get the win. So Ricochet gonna walk out. Now, very well could be the match that I'm looking forward to the most, and it's because these two women just continue to do everything from what they're doing at Queen of the Ring when they were tearing each other at the premiere, what they're doing on TV, if they're doing it backstage, if they're doing it in the ring. That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. Toni Storm and Mariah May have done great work together. They have completely made, as I talked about with Mr. OTM Kyle yesterday, Mariah May has turned into a big main event superstar to finally have a name to the point where people are so excited to see Mariah May when Mariah May really wasn't doing anything when she first started. And this match is a AEW Women's World Championship Falls Count Anywhere match, which makes it even better because after you fight somebody at a premiere of a movie, I feel like there's no other way you got to end this rivalry than a Falls Count Anywhere match. I mean, you could put them in a steel cage, put them in whatever you want to put them in, but Falls Count Anywhere, again, like I said earlier about the street fight with Javon Evans and Ethan Page, go have them start in the parking lot, have them start in the backstage. Let's see him just start in the locker room. I don't care. But either way, I'm going to stick, and I'm going to say that we see Timeless Toni Storm wins the match. Mariah May does put on a great performance. I do think that, it would be kind of dumb to be bouncing the title back and forth. But then again, we could very well just see that happen. And I would love to see Mariah May win. But I just don't think that they're going to bounce the title back and forth. But again, I could be very wrong. But we're going to stick with Toni Storm to win this. And we're going to say, and I'm going to say that the match does not end in the ring. We got Kono with Don Callis as he takes on Kenny Omega for the International Championship. It is Kenny Omega as he takes on I don't know why I can't say some of these guys. It's again nothing. It's just the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys. I can't say some of them, or even some of the Ring of Honor guys. I can't say. I'm sorry. Don't yell at me. But we got Kono taking on Kenny Omega for the International Championship, and it's good to see Kenny Omega back. I'm so happy to see him back on TV. Good to see him back on pay-per-view. If you did not know, speaking of the pay-per-view, you can now order these pay-per-views on Prime. And AEW also has a deal with Max, apparently. Now, hopefully, their contents will be going to Max very soon. So, at least if you do not have a pay-per-view provider, you can now order these on Prime. I don't know how many more people are going to order them on Prime. And yes, you still have to pay the $50 for them to be on Prime. But, I mean, hey, it's an easier way to find it, right? But now, we got, and as I said, sorry, I got off track there. But Kenny Omega, Kono, gonna put on a show. But in the end, you already know who's gonna win this match. It is Kenny Omega, and he's gonna walk out as your new international champion. And that is what we're gonna say. And then in the main event, we have Dean Ambrose taking on Jon Moxley taking on Cope. It is for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley and Cope have just grown to dislike each other, and this goes all the way back. They fight for years. I mean, let's be real here. But Cope and Jon Moxley, it's been really exciting to see them go out there and go at each other every single week, going after each other on the mic. As I keep saying, I love to see Edge and other superstars getting the opportunity. I'm sorry, Cope, Adam Copeland, whatever you want to call him. We're just going to say whatever. I'll just say whatever name that comes to my mind at that time. But Cope Cope and John Moxley are going to go out there and hopefully they put on a good match. Hopefully Cope does not get hurt because we do not want to see him get hurt again. But I'm excited to see this match, and I think it's going to be very good. But in the end, I'm going to say John Moxley still walks out as your AEW World Champion. And those are my predictions for those 10 matches that are going to go down on Sunday, tomorrow, at AEW Revolution. So that is everything that I have here for you guys. If you're just joining us here, make sure that you go and make sure that you have hit the like button on this episode. You have subscribed to the channel as we're on the road to 17. We're on the road to 2,703K. And also, if you have not yet, guys, if you could, go order yourself some merchandise, bonfire.com, as we are 4 sales away from helping us get to a milestone of merchandise sales. So, if you can, help us out here. Miko is retiring next month. I did not know that. Thank you for that, Michelle. Let's see. I heard Tino with yes, you did, J-Dog. I appreciate you, J-Dog. I need to get to here we go. I sent you. Oh, okay. So last night, code. Oh no, I read that one. No. Where are we at? I lost track. Moose went. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Meta Girls and Piper. Meta Girls, Piper, and Alba. I mean, honestly, I didn't even think about Piper and Alba being a tag team. You could be very well right on that one. J-Dog did help me. Shout out to J-Dog. J-Dog said Moose and Javon Evans wins. Roxanne puts over Jordan Grace. I mean, I think that's the only thing the right thing to do. And maybe the reason why they are doing that is because they need to just finish up a couple things with Roxanne Perez. I mean, that very well could just be all it is. What do I think starts off what? Roadblock? I'm going to say the tag team championship match. Hardy Boys win, yes, sir, hopefully. Match of the night for me, I'm going to say that it could be the street fight or Moose and Oba. I mean, honestly, all the matches could be because you could say the same thing about the tag team match. Jordan and Roxanne is a dream match. I mean, all these matches could be really freaking good. You think this is the one step closer for the Hardy Boys to be? They can't really be called up to the main roster because they are TNA superstars. But I do believe by summertime, I think that we'll see a lot more TNA superstars showing up on Raw and SmackDown. Julie. J-Dog's going to watch the PLE. It's on Tuesday, J-Dog, so just don't forget it is not on the weekend. Stephanie wins. Yeah, apparently that's what I heard too. Julie, I'm going to be taking some time off. Yeah. Man, Shinsuke, I did see that. Condolences to Shinsuke. That is just awful news that his brother passed away, and it's so sad, man. I cannot even imagine what is honestly I didn't even think about that. That very well could be. DIY and Street Profits, I expect a lot of shenanigans. You know damn well we getting a fatal 4-way or something at WrestleMania. It would have been a boring storyline if Raquel and Liv did it. Yes, big facts. The crying was so out of hand with the shenanigans. I mean, listen, you got to try to play it off what you can. I mean, I did just rewatch that segment before we did go live. I did feel like the crying was a little bit too much. But, I mean, they did what they needed to do. You get all the credit for this week. I appreciate you helping me out today, J-Dog. Thank you. But Judgment Day, again, how good are they doing with these brand splits? I mean, they haven't done nothing. We talked about it. I mean, they can't do a brand split if their life depended on it, no matter how hard they try. What if Liv doesn't get a damn rematch? What rematch? Are you talking about when Liv lost the title? Why was Andrade trying to talk sense into Humberto? Because maybe he doesn't like Berto. Maybe he's got an obsession with Garza. I don't know. Does it not tell you that him being scheduled for May, that means he's winning at Mania? Because he said his last match at Mania, right? Does he? So his final match is not until December. So we will see John Cena all summer, all winter, and we'll just not see him after December, apparently. But again, who knows? That could be a lie, too. Swerve needs this. Please don't separate him and Nana. Nah. Man, those two are so great together. Wait, what's the purpose of putting PLEs on streaming if we still listen? Eric, I don't know. I don't make the rules, man. I just sit here and talk about it. Price same as it is, $49.99. Yeah, hate to see it. Kenny is facing Kono. If I could say his name, that'd be great. Take a shitter. Take a shitter. That's how I say it. No, Roxanne has to win because she hasn't won a singles match since September. See, but then that kind of, I feel like that hurts Jordan, though, doesn't it? No? I feel like because then if Roxanne wins, then Jordan's going to need to get more revenge. And if Jordan wins, then Roxanne can finally go to the main roster. And like I said, maybe we see her go up against Bayley. And maybe we see something like that with them fighting at WrestleMania or something. I don't know. That's what I think is going to happen with that. Hardy Boys said that they want to finish their careers in the WWE. I hope so. And I hope that is the case because within the past 2 weeks, I feel like, as I keep saying, I think we're in an alternate universe because what year is it that we've seen The Rock, John Cena, Randy Orton, Trish Stratus, the Hardy Boys? We saw Lex Luthor going to be getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. We saw Nikki Bella a couple at the Royal Rumble. I mean, I have no idea what's going on right now. If Stone Cold shows up, we're officially in the Attitude Era, but it's the modern day era. Maybe that's what they call this era. The modern day era. I don't freaking know. I mean, it's just, yeah. So, I want to see also another thing, speaking of Hardy Boys, and as J-Dog says, CM Punk. Jeff Hardy and CM Punk is a match I hope we get because you guys remember that feud that they had back in the day was so good. And I want to see that again. CM Punk. I mean, also, what CM Punk did on Monday, calling the Rock and John Cena bald frauds, calling both of them out like it's 2012, it was beautiful. And CM Punk is the GOAT. And it was a pipe bomb 2.0. And I cannot wait to see what happens on March 17th. But for now, that is how we're going to end here today's episode. If there is anything else you guys want to chat and talk about, you know where to find me on all the social medias. Leave your questions in your comments below, your questions. Anything else that you wanted to go and you want to talk about. We got Erica. Real quick, what I was trying to ask is, why is Rhea getting a rematch if Liv never got one after she lost? Well, that's what I was asking. Did Liv never get one? Because I thought she did. Well, if I feel like I've noticed with a lot of it with the title tag, the title rematch, whatever clause bull BS that they come up with, I feel like 98% of that is like when they feel like they want to do it. So again, Liv could go back to that and everything, but I don't want to spend another road to WrestleMania talking about the Liv Morgan crybaby fans because she's not on the WrestleMania card in the way that they want her to be. And again, and I get it, but what are we going to do? Are you going to fight Triple H and tell him to make it a fatal four-way? Because he's not going to do it. Liv Morgan going to fight for the tag titles, and everybody's going to have to live with it until she gets her moment, because when it does, it's going to be nice, and it's going to be sweet for all you Liv Morgan fans. Just like me as a John Cena fan, I've wanted John Cena healed for so long that now that we're getting it, it is just giving me a whole new, like, rejuvenation. It is like revived, if I could speak, revived and rejoiced my excitement for what could go down this next year for John Cena. But as I said, guys, keep leaving your comments, your concerns, your questions in the chat. We will not be live here tomorrow as I do not have anything planned. But if something does come up and if there's something that we have that we want to do, you know you'll be the first to know. So make sure you go check out all the social medias. Go check out the OTM guys. Thank you to Kyle for joining us yesterday. Make sure you go check out the Main Event Network, as they got a main event mixer tomorrow, 2 hours before AEW Revolution. Go and check it out to see what they got to say and what their thoughts will be about all those matches that will be going down. Make sure that you guys also, as I said earlier, become a member, leave a super chat, go get your merchandise, all that good stuff. But before you go, hit that like button, subscribe on the road to 3K. And lastly, guys, turn that notification button on so you know when we will go live next, which will be Monday night for Monday Night Raw if we don't do anything tomorrow. But we very well could be. I'm just not too sure. So keep an eye out. And if not, I'll see you guys Monday for Monday Night Raw. And today's MVP has got to be our guy J-Dog for helping me out, getting me all that news, notes, and rumors. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you Monday or possibly tomorrow.